Hello and welcome to this edition of our chat with Alan Garrettson, CEO of FX Financial. Hi Alan, how are you doing today?
Hello Stacy, it's the Stacy and Alan show.
It's the Stacy and Alan show on a Friday before Labor Day weekend. We're getting ready to enjoy the weekend. We hope you are as well. But we wanted to continue on the theme that we talked about last time, where we introduced the concept of entertainment financing as a marketing program for manufacturers and distributors to increase their sales. So we gave an overview of that. Now I want to continue the conversation and assume that a manufacturer or distributor has a financing program in place for a new product.
Okay.
Now we're at the point where a sales rep is talking to a customer, and the customer has objections. So you work with sales reps and manufacturers all the time in setting these kinds of programs up. Tell me from your experience, what's the first objection that financing programs can kind of help a sales rep kind of get through, and what would they say?
Well, the first objection in any sales, in any industry, is going to be price. The cost is too high. And let's pretend for a second that there is no financing in place.
Okay.
It's a reseller, he's talking to a customer. The objections you're going to get are, first and foremost, price. Secondly, method of payment. Customers not real sure how they're going to pay for it. Do they have net terms? Can they get extended terms, 60 days, 90 days from the manufacturer? Because of the cost, they may not be getting the system mix they want. They're cutting back just so they can afford it, or they're not buying the latest release because the latest release of whatever product they're buying is more expensive. So those are all the objections that a customer can come at you with, or not objections, at least concerns, as the buying decision is going through their head.
So if I'm a sales rep and I've got a financing program in place, how do I address those objections?
Well, you can address them one at a time. First, price. Well, okay, I'll reduce my price. Customer really wants a richer system mix, more attributes. Okay, well, I'll throw in this for free if you buy it. Okay, I'll give you an upgrade for free if you make your decision today. You can address those all at one time, and a lot of us in sales have done that. Or you can do this at the very start, as part of your sales strategy. You can offer financing, and what financing will do is it'll preemptively help you address all of those issues, and they might not even come up.
Okay, so let's assume again that the financing program's in place, the manufacturer's got one there. What would the sales rep say to the customer who's concerned about the price?
Well, we're assuming it's in place or not in place?
It's in place.
It's in place. Customer sends out a quote, a proposal. Let's say it's $150,000. Yikes, that's a big number for anybody in our industry. But there's also a financing proposal with it. 36 months at X dollars a month per month. And so the customer sees the total dollar amount, but they also see a monthly payment. All of a sudden they're comparing their income that they're going to get from the new equipment with a monthly payment. There's a delta there for them to make some extra cash. The pricing objection might not ever come up.
Okay, so you're actually suggesting that it's not actually a conversation. It's when the manufacturer or the sales rep is sending out that quote because they've got an inquiry on a piece of equipment that there's a proposal that's out, and you're suggesting that along with just what that pricing is, they're including kind of a detailed payment plan as an option for purchase.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be detailed. When they have a financing program, they can just mention it. If they don't want to go to the trouble of integrating a monthly payment option into their equipment proposals, that's fine. But at least make it very clear from the onset that they've taken the time to go out and offer a complete solution to the customer. And by the way, this is a pretty big number you're looking at. We offer financing for up to 5 years. So,
okay, and what role does FX Financial play in that? Do you like to be involved at that level? Do you want a call from the sales rep that says, I've got this inquiry, and can and you'll pull together some kind of numbers for them, or is that something that the manufacturer would have entirely in-house?
No, it is something FX Financial does. You know, sometimes finance companies come to manufacturers, and ideally, you know, when the sales rep is sending out an equipment proposal, you know, a monthly payment automatically populates, and it's part of their proposal. You know, sounds great, right? That happens about never. What really happens is a customer, they're working on a proposal for $20,000, $50,000, or $100,000. In the initial conversations with the customer, they've talked about financing, because I've gone in there and talked to them about financing, and the customer's interested, and then the customer and the sales rep will send an email introducing me to the customer, or give me a call and say, please call this customer. And we're the ones that do the monthly payments. We talk to them about the qualification requirements, and so we'll get a copy of the equipment proposal, usually by email, and then with that we will send them a financing proposal.
Okay, so you're kind of a team member in the sales process with the rep to help create a scenario that overcomes the price objection from the customer.
And I'm kind of an old school guy, but the great thing about the interweb and all the emails and stuff is that it's like we're sitting right next to the sales rep, because we're just an email away. And the sales rep will say, this is my customer, I've included Alan. Alan will get in touch with you, and he'll send you a proposal, and we'll get this financing thing down the road pretty quickly. That is how it actually happens. It happens 99.99% of the time.
And how long does that process take? You know, what's your response rate, or what should a response rate be? What should a sales rep expect?
You know, depending, there are a couple of variables. One, after I have the conversation with the customer, we send them a proposal by email, and then that proposal will contain you know, qualification requirements. Maybe it's just a one-page application. How long does it take the customer to send that back? That's a big variable. But what is important is that we keep in touch with the sales rep. So the sales rep will immediately get an email or a phone call that says, I talked to your customer, they like the numbers, they're going to send me the application back, or if it's a big deal, they're getting together all the information for the financial disclosure.
Okay.
So it could take one day, you know, it could take 4 days, depending on what the customer is getting. But what is really important is our communication with the sales rep. So it's just not floating in limbo and they don't know what's going on.
And what information do you need from the sales rep to really help support the deal closing?
It really helps to have a quote. It doesn't have to be the final quote. You know, during the application process, the dollar amounts can change. Sometimes the customer will, you know, we start talking to them about financing, and they look at the original quote, the equipment quote, and the monthly payment, and they go, man, I can add a few things, I can add a few features, you know, to this product that I really want. It's really not going to move the monthly payment much. So it can move, and it usually does. During the application process, between that time and the time it ships, the customer usually adds a few things as they start to finance it. But we need the initial quote to give us a good idea. I call it an 80% idea of what they're looking at and the dollar amount they're looking at.
Okay. Switching gears a little bit, the price objections, obviously the top objection that having a financing program can help expand the options and alleviate concerns about. Do you hear other objections that this type of a program kind of helps?
Oh, yeah, and we touched on them briefly. A lot of times a customer, because they're paying with cash, or maybe they're using their line of credit at their bank and they don't want to exhaust their line of credit, they're not buying the system mix that they want. Let's say they're buying, let's say they're buying projectors. You know, they're not buying some of the features, or, you know, they're not buying the brightest or the latest projector because they have financial concerns that, you know, it's going to exhaust their financial resources. So they may not be buying the system that they want. When the manufacturer offers financing, that's a two-lane road, you know, for them to upgrade the customer. And at that point, the customer can start thinking about, you know, I can get the next projector, I can get the newest projector, I can get this feature, I can get the video switcher with it, I can buy a whole lot of other things now. So it really helps, in addition to the price concerns, it really helps cover some of the system concerns because the customer can now buy exactly what they want.
Okay, and this is the kind of information that when the sales reps just got it naturally in their wheelhouse of assets for answering these objections, they can help craft and plant seeds for future purchases, is what you're saying.
Yeah, when they're talking to the customer initially and they're talking about, this unit, and the customer as well, I'd really like to have one of those units. I could make a lot more money, in the rental staging world with this. The customer, well, why not? We'll find, there's financing available to take some of that sting out of it. It might take all the sting out of it. You can get the latest and greatest and not worry about your cash outlay.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, in addition to that, they don't have to worry about method of payments. They don't have to deal with the national sales credit manager, about their credit account. This is a big order, and I don't have the facility in place with the manufacturer. You finance it, you have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about going to their bank and using their line of credit. It resolves a lot of things if you offer financing.
So what you're suggesting is it's to the sales rep's advantage to point out those particular details. So they should point out to the client that you don't have to establish your own, you don't have to exercise your line of credit with the bank.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What were the others? Well, tell me what the others were again. Let's go through them again.
Okay. You don't have to, method of payment. So you don't have to exhaust your line of credit at the bank. We're offering you manufacturer financing, which is an alternative, an increment to your line of credit at the bank. So you're not using your line of credit for this equipment when you can use it for ongoing costs of the business. Okay, you can get the richest system you can afford. You can get the newest model you can afford because we're financing it for you. And last but not least, it really does help alleviate price concerns because in our production world, when somebody's buying a system, they know how much they can get for it on a daily basis and how much that'll generate in revenue on a monthly basis. And they can compare that number to the finance monthly payment.
Done deal.
Now you're sold.
Okay, got it. Okay, well, certainly more to come. I just wanted to address single objections from the salesperson's perspective in this session, and we've got more to come. But if anybody wants to get started getting a financing program set up, certainly reach out to Alan. FX Financial, you see the URL in his overlay, so it's fx-financial.com, or why don't you tell us your number and email to reach you?
Yeah, you can reach me at 512-481-0227. That's my direct line, and if for some reason I'm not here, like I won't be on Monday, it usually forwards to my cell phone.
Perfect. Okay, well, for this edition, we'll be signing off, and until next time, and if you have any questions that you'd like us to address or questions directly for Alan, please feel free to contact him directly, and we'll make it good fodder for our next Hangout on Air. So until next time, have a great holiday weekend. Good to chat with you, Alan.
See you next week, Stacy.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.